So this is the beginning of revenue management. Let's see. Okay, let's begin. Revenue management, 2019. Okay. Anybody who can hear me? The question isn't who's joining. The question is, what is the topic of today? So the topic of today will be how to get people to do whatever you ask them to do. So let's see, where should we begin? Okay, so let's go ahead and get this thing started. Let's see, like CSV, yes, like CSV. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on revenue management today. So we'll go ahead and begin with, let's see, let's take a look at what's on in business, new business, yeah, because that is always pretty interesting. So, let's see. There is no handover from Chris, as we know, but that's something where we know, and I want to give 75% of my load on revenue management to somebody. Mercy has informed me that currently he's unavailable to take on that load, so we will continue with that. Let's take a look and see at. Right. Okay, so these are just. I'm gonna essentially move this Lucene business over to the library because I think that part is essentially already done, and we've discussed this multiple times already. So, what do you know? I think it's already here. It's already here. Let's just double check. Yes, that is essentially the same thing. So I'll remove that from full business. Okay, and then revenue managers are, yes, producing the revenue management projection. So that is already done, and that can also be deleted from old business. Okay, all right. Let's take a look. I have my first joiner. I think Ryan is going to come in. Maybe not. Maybe not. All right. So let's see where we should begin. I pinged everyone on the announcement already. So let's move this over to new business. Let's move this over to old business. Oh, this is new business actually. Let's go to this part. So, all right. Let's get. Can you ping a little bit again? Ping them on the top of their heads so that they are in. Okay. This new thing that I want to do is I want to agree with Nunli on something. Is Nunli around? Okay. I want to agree that revenue managers will actually do the forecasts, and currently we're using this forecast roadmap to coordinate all the different forecasts, right? So this is an example of the forecast. Let's see. All right. Oh wow, this guy's coming today. It's crazy, but real. All right. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Actually, I want to see what this actually looked like. Stack quest. Oh, this one we talked about last time. These are the different graphs for different passenger traffic across different regions. You can delete that from old business. Yeah, Nunli. Sorry. Revenue management will do projections from now on. So that answers your question about. And for squad one is me.
Okay.
And I will put it on the roadmap on how we're doing this. This is how we're doing forecasts.
So ideally every owner have a projection.
Yeah, you can ask me for how to do projections. Yeah. So I will be working on projections. All right, let's see. MVP of revenue projections. Could have found annual. Okay, interesting. Let's see. That one annual. Do not annual. Okay. Mm-hmm. 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 This is okay. All right. Do not want an annual projection. Okay. Interesting. Hmm. All right. Let's go ahead and begin with something because I hate just doing nothing. Let's go ahead and go into to Inda. Okay. Actually, I owe Kathy something today, so I'll set up her revenue for last time. Okay, let's see if this
starts.
It's starting now, actually. Okay. Send me an email that for the coming years I have some time to check it to land to exit. Okay. Compile rates on full weeks. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a look at this one. This one's kind of interesting. This will be essentially a projection for how much Kathy can sell her peak season bookings for next year. So Kathy is village and she has essentially a 7-bedroom villa in Binghamton. We're doing very well over the years. And let's go in on the other guys. Okay, so in order to set, let's say next year, the first step. Okay, so here's my plan. Dominic, join us. We're essentially discussing about how to set a rate for 2020. The discussion right now is between myself and Kathy, who's the owner of Village Agenda. We're going to try to figure out what we're going to set the rates for Village Agenda for 2020 will be. So I guess the first thing we can do is we can take a look and see Village Agenda for this year. So I would say the best way to set the rates for the next year is to just take a look at what were the rates this year. That's just to give an idea of what it could be, right? So ballpark figure. Not necessarily exact, but at least we have a direction to go from. So we'll take evidence of actual sales that have happened. Now, here's a question. Does anybody expect 2020 to be better or worse than 2019? Better. Okay, why do you think it's going to be better than 2019?
More flights to Indonesia, especially.
Okay, more flights to Indonesia. All right, so Dominic thinks it's going to be more flights to Indonesia, and she thinks it's going to be better. Yeah. Okay. Diana, what do you think it is?
I think more flight and also people the younger people more travel.
Okay, so let's.
The economic flight.
Okay, let's just try doing a forecast, right? So this is a forecast year on year, annual, and so based on this, this is just a fun exercise, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to look at, let's say, the factors that are involved, and we're going to look at 2019, and then we're going to look at, let's say, 2020. Okay. All right. So, and we're going to look at the forecast in relation to prices for villas in Binghamton, right? Because this is specifically for villa to Inda. Okay. So, what are some factors that, let's say you guys are fairly pro, right? So you're saying that there's more flights to Bali, right? More travelers. No. More travelers where?
To Bali.
To Bali. Okay. All right. Dominic, what do you think?
This one is for same like more flights, and then probably the most efficient flights, sir.
Okay.
More economic flights also.
Okay, more economic flights. Okay. Okay. All right. And I'm going to say this. So, what is your proof that there's going to be more flights?
Because this year we already got, for example, we got direct flight from Philippines to Bali.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So we already have those flights. So
Yeah.
what are the additional flights? Welcome in, Gani. Gani, welcome in. We're doing a prediction for 2020. We're trying to predict 2020 will be a better year for Bingen, for villas, than this year in
Vietnam
2019.
have direct flight to Bali.
Okay, so you're saying that there's new flights from Vietnam, yeah?
Mhm.
Okay. And all right. Okay, so let's clean this up a little bit. Let's say that okay, we'll have each person have one essential proponent. So Gwen is saying that there's more flights, and Dominic, what are you saying?
Yeah, more economic flight also.
More economic flights. Okay, so that's pretty much the same thing,
Yeah.
right? So we'll just double up on that. All right, let's go to Gunny. Gunny, do you predict 2020 will be better than 2019?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, why do you think so, Gunny?
I feel that the surfing trend on Bingin is higher. I think, yeah.
Okay, surfing trend will be higher.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's gonna be more surfers, right?
Yes.
How do you know that?
I don't know. I just scrolling Instagram and then I found that many surfing go to Bali, and I'm just assume that Bingin is the best attraction for surfing. I
Okay.
just assume.
Okay, all right. So data points. Okay, this is Vietnam flights, and this is where do you find this information, Gani, about this surfing trends on Instagram or?
Yeah, just scrolling on Instagram, sir, but I forget what account. Just
Okay, great. This is really important, guys. Right? You realize this is really important, yet none of us have concrete facts. Right?
You can search it on Vietnam
Okay.
direct flight.
Right. So we can probably search and we can probably determine that. On surfing, we might be able to do this. We might be able to. Do you know Google Trends, Dominic?
No.
Google Trends?
No, never heard about that.
You never heard about Google Trends? Okay, well, welcome to Google Trends. So what we can do on Google Trends is you can see how often a topic is being searched for on the internet, right? So let's say, for example, you go surfing in Bingen, right? And you can see how often this search term is appearing versus other search terms. Now, by itself, there isn't enough data here, but maybe you search for surfing Bali, yeah? And maybe you compare that to surfing, I don't know, what's another region in the world that has surf?
Hawaii.
Hawaii. Okay, and you can see what the relative interest in each term is. Now, currently, when that shows up, you'll be able to see that it's much popular surfing Hawaii than surfing Bali. But that's only for
United States.
right. So if we change it to worldwide, we can take a look and see how it is worldwide. And worldwide, it's actually very close now. Surfing Bali is about at the same level as surfing
Hawaii.
Hawaii. But we can also go back to the very, 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 very old days, right, to 2004, and see how that has affected things. Now, since 2004, surfing interest in Hawaii has diminished.
Yeah.
And surfing in Bali has relatively been stable, okay? But people are less likely to go to Hawaii now. Why do you think people are less likely to go to Hawaii?
Because
More expensive in Hawaii?
expensive.
More expensive in Hawaii. Yes. Hawaii, the average hotel is probably at least $200. That was when I left. And there isn't a lot of Hawaiians actually developing in Hawaii. So if you take a look at, let's say, Thailand, Indonesia, and Hawaii, the biggest difference is in Hawaii, there's not a large native population of people that you can draw a labor force from in order to serve in the hotels and construct things. Indonesia has a huge population. There's 220 million people here. Thailand, also a pretty big population. And so when you have a big population, you're able to grow cheaper than if you have a small population because, once again, you can bring things over faster, easier, and construct at a lower cost. So what I see is that Bali and Thailand have been eating up Hawaii's market for a very long time. And the surfer experience in Hawaii sucks. It's an expensive place to stay. The variety of accommodations isn't very interesting. And overall, the experience isn't as rich and as complete as you would find in Bali or Thailand, right? So we know that surfing isn't really trending up actually in Bali. So we don't expect it to really be trending up either in Bingan. If the trend for the entire island isn't going up, then for the area, probably not. All right. What's another word, another sort of thing we can look at to try to detect our trend? How about we just look for something really big? Well, let's look for the word travel, right? And see where travel is doing right now. And we can't compare it to surfing Hawaii because that would be ridiculous. So let's
Travel
move it.
to Indonesia, Bali.
Okay, let's see what travel to. Okay, let's try travel to Bali. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's see what's going on. Travel to Bali is rising. Okay, that's good. That's good. Let's compare that with another hot button word, which is recession.
Thailand.
No, we're going to compare it to this word, recession. Recession is essentially when the economy gets worse, right? And so what we are going to look at, we're going to see,
Oh.
yeah?
What is recession, sir? Sorry.
Recession is economic slowdown. It's when people lose jobs, right? The best way to explain a recession is when your neighbors start losing their jobs and your friends start losing their jobs. That's essentially what a recession starts looking at. And everybody stops spending money. So you can see there's actually a very sharp peak in the belief of recession right now, right? Which is actually one of the first things to stop happening in an economic recession is what? People will stop.
Traveling.
Yes, people will stop traveling if they think there's a recession. If people stop, because I might not have my job, I should probably, bolt down a little bit. So there is a growing concern about global recession, and this needs to be considered in your forecast. So if you have, let's say, if you are detecting recession, possibility of global recession, then that would severely impact your travel projections and ideas of that. Now we don't really know, but it's normal. In a real recession, nobody really knows when it's going to happen, right? It's sort of like, when does the recession begin? I guess the day you lose your job. That's the day your recession begins. But if you look around and you see that there's no more growth in the economy, then that's a bad sign. Okay, now let's talk about this idea. Let's talk about recession. So how do we know if there's recession happening? Or what should we look at to see if we're in danger of recession?
Danger of recession.
Mm-hmm.
News.
Okay, you don't need to look at the news. The news is full of just junk, right? You just need to look at some data points. You need to look at GDP growth
Yeah.
in a few of the major countries that feed to Bukit Vista, right?
Yeah.
So where are the major nationalities that have Germany? We have a lot of German. Yes, what are some other places? So that's Holland. Okay, where else?
England.
England. Okay.
Italy.
No, we don't have a lot of Italians. No.
French.
France. Okay.
France.
Yeah. Where else?
America.
USA. Okay. And then where else?
It's starting higher on Abu Dhabi.
Okay. Abu Dhabi, a little bit, not a huge. If you look at the heat map on
China.
China, yeah, China. Okay. Where else?
Indonesia.
Indonesia. Okay. All right. Where else? Obvious place. No, we don't have a lot of visitors from Japan.
Denmark.
Europe.
Denmark a little bit, but not a lot. Come on,
Australia.
Australia. Okay. Between these nationalities comprises, I think, more than 80% of the total number of guests that come to Bukit Vista, right? So let's rank these. Which one do you think has the most impact on our overall, let's say, revenue growth?
Germany.
Okay, probably Germany, and then after that?
USA.
Yeah, probably Germany and USA. Okay, since we want to do a quick heuristic, then all we have to do is just let's look at Germany. Let's look at these top three, right? Germany, USA, and Australia. Those are probably the largest inbound countries that we can take a look at. So let's look at Germany GDP forecast 2020, okay? Well, let's see what Germany thinks that their GDP is going to be like. At the same time, let's look for USA GDP forecast. And let's look at Australia GDP forecast 2020. Okay, all right. Let's see what Google will tell us. Okay, so for 2020, it seems like growth of 1%. Institute experienced 1.4. And okay, so Germany sees recession. Yeah, cut growth forecast for 2019. And when was this done? This was done just earlier this year, just a few days, just a month ago, September 11th, 2019. Germany thinks there's going to be a recession. Okay, let's look for United States.
Muốn tahu?
Iya, maksudnya aku sudah masuk ada di diri. Dia minta terus.
Okay, let's look for the U.S. According to the Great
Coba cari.
and 1.9 in 2020. Okay, economic growth to decelerate in the United States, right? So the U.S. looks like it's going to decelerate too, and the unemployment rate is to remain below 4% by the end of 2020. Okay, all right, let's see that. Let's see Australia. Around 2.34%, underlying inflation is to pick up, major trading partners. Okay, so that looks okay. Doesn't look like Australia's GDP will change very much. But you do have two big economies, both Germany and the United States. Okay, now in terms of how Europe is doing, how important is Germany's influence in Europe's economy? How strong is Germany's influence in Europe's economy?
Big enough because it's the Uni ikut apa sih namanya? Uni Eropa.
Yep.
One
Okay.
of the Uni Eropa, yeah.
Yes. It's one of it, but let's go to Gunny. What do you think is Germany's contribution to the European economy?
I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know.
28% in one country. So almost 1/3 of the European economy is in Germany. Okay? All right.
Oh, I see.
So let's go and take a look at the GDP of another country. Let's look for GDP England, or let's say UK GDP forecast 2020. Okay, so between England and Germany, I think this is where the largest is. We expect deceleration, right?
Yeah.
1.4% in 2019, 1.3% in 2020. Okay, let's keep on going. Let's go look at China. China GDP forecast. China forecast is recovers to 4.4. Okay, hard to see. What is the economic forecast? 2% and then 1.8%. So future is slowing down in all. The unemployment rate is 3.6 in 2019. Okay, so it looks like most of the world's major economies are going to experience recession in 2020, right? So there's no economy that looks like it's going to do better next year. So you got to remember that all economies are interlinked. So when Germany's economy slows down, that means that fewer Germans will buy French products, right? And that means France's economy is going to slow down, which means that fewer people in England are going to need French workers to make perfumes and Louis Vuitton bags. And so this will affect everybody, right?
Yeah.
Slowdown affects pretty much everybody. So my forecast of 2020 is actually going to be much, much worse. Now, if you talk to any of your guests from Europe right now and you ask them, hey, how's everything in Europe? They'll tell you probably things are terrible in Europe. Yeah? Why are things terrible? Fundamentally, Europe is kind of like a mess, right? There's wars going on over on the eastern side. There's Brexit happening on. There's riots. There's a lot of immigration coming in. So these factors do not actually sustain a strong economy. Okay, so that's Europe. What about China? China's having a trade war with the U.S. right now, and so both sides are suffering from that. Americans can't get cheap Chinese products. China can't get cheap American products. So that slows down, and that's why fewer Chinese people are traveling this year, because they don't know if they're going to have the same factory job that they had the year before. It's one of the few years I've ever heard Chinese people thinking next year is not going to be as good as this year. That was the first time in almost 7 years Chinese people are saying that. Okay, so taking that into account, we can see that GDP growth across most of the major economic areas that affect Bukit Vista doesn't look very positive, right? Now, okay, let's move on to the next decision. So if we know that, let's say, the recession is probably looming ahead of us, and there's going to be lower travel, then what does that actually mean for the forecast for prices of villas in Bingen?
Should be lower than 2019.
Should be lower, right? So we have a few things that are kind of happening right now. We have more flights coming into Bali. We have perhaps fewer travelers who can afford to go to Bali in the future. And Bali, you have to remember, for Europe and America, is very far, right? So this is really a aspirational trip. This isn't like going to the neighboring country for a quick weekend holiday. This is like a big budget production to fly across the world. So do you think that these countries that have recession coming up, do you think more people or fewer people will think of traveling to Bali?
Fewer.
Probably fewer, right? But then this is the problem. There's more flights now. So what's that going to mean for all the flights? Cheaper. Good time to visit Europe. Okay. Anyway. But this is what I'm talking about. We can kind of analyze the input and try to balance it out. So we're looking on the demand side. Essentially, the demand side looks like it's going to get weaker. Now, what about the supply side? Is there going to be more or fewer villas in Bingen next year?
Fewer.
There's going to be fewer villas. Why is there going to be fewer villas, Dominic?
Yeah, because not a lot of people travel to Bali.
No. But how many villas are going to be in Bingen? There's going to be more villas next year or fewer?
More villa, yeah.
There's going to be more villas.
Yeah.
All right. So what should that do to price then, logically speaking? If we're not expecting as many Europeans to come and as many Americans to come because their economies are going to be worse next year, which means that their job certainty is going to be less, which means that they have less disposable income. And there's going to be more villas coming up in Bingen. What would that do to the price then?
Cheaper?
Lower.
Yes. Danny, thank you. It probably would actually depress the price. Okay, so now we have a better intuition of what is up ahead on the road. Okay, so then the question is this, right? How should we set the price?
Use the projection.
Okay, so we can do this. We can use the price from 2019 as a reference point, right? Because, if we're going to set like a price for a 5, 6, 7 bedroom villa like Cerita Indah, then we need to know, all right, around how much do actually people pay? But then we can also set that factor of we expect it to be worse than this year. And so in that particular way, it should be actually less than this year, right? More villas, worse economy. So that seems like a price point of lower rather than higher. So let's take a look. Let's kind of take a look and see what people book for this year. So here's Donna. Donna booked sometime in, welcome in, Alvin, by the way. So we're doing a projection on Villa Cerita Indah, and we're going to the whole global economics to decide this. Now, okay, we know another thing's going to happen. Let's think even one step ahead. So let's say we set an extremely cheap price for Cerita Indah, like a dead cheap price. Is that going to benefit us, or is that going to not benefit us today? Let's go over to Alvin. Alvin, let's say, for example, Cerita Indah was selling for $500 in 2019, and for 2020, we're going to set it for like $250. Do you think that's going to benefit us, or that's not going to benefit us today? Take a guess.
It's 250 for next year, but
Yeah.
500 for this year.
Let's say this year we sold Cerita Indah for $500 a night. So we believe a recession is coming and we need to slash prices. Let's sell it for $250. Is that a good idea or a bad idea?
That's bad.
Okay, it's a bad idea. Alvin thinks it's a bad idea. What do you think, Rizal? Is it a good idea or a bad idea?
I think it's good
Okay, it's good. Why do you think it's good?
because if we can predict it from today and then change it at this time,
Mhm.
I think it's earlier booking at this year. So
Okay.
I think
Okay, so if we price down, we get the earlier booking and we get the booking lodge then. Okay, what do you think, Gunny? Is it good or bad? We have 1 and 1 now.
I'm a little bit agree with results. So we lower the price to getting
Okay,
future book.
get the bookings. Okay, all right, let's go to Dominic. What do you think?
Yeah, it's better because we got booking in advance.
Okay, get a booking in advance. All right, let's be practical here, though. Let's take a look. So, how much lower do we have to do Now, so this is good. We just have to lower it. Let's say we lower it. Right? Let's say we lower it and we sell it at 250. I guess the only problem we have to worry about is the owner comes back and says, "Why did you sell it for 250?" Oh, I predicted a global recession. And then what if the global recession didn't happen? Right? And things are doing fine. And then you're like, "Well, your prediction is wrong and I hate you now." Right? Okay. So, what are we really talking about here? We're talking about what's the probability somebody who is going to books, but if they lose their job or whatever, what are they going to do? They're going to cancel anyway, right? If there is a recession, even if they book today, and let's say their family can't travel because nobody can pay for the plane ticket anymore, then it's more likely they're going to cancel. Now, you got to remember something like this. For something as big as Villa Cerita Indah, the threat of cancellation is huge. Why? Why is the threat of cancellation really big? If we think that there's going to be a global recession, right? Why is the threat of cancellation pretty large?
Because it's a huge villa, probably people book it in average, and the cancellation policy is still flexible, and
Okay.
you can just cancel it.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Let's go around. Let's keep on surveying. Alvin, why do you think, if we believe that the recession is happening, the threat of a cancellation of Villa Cerita Indah is going to be pretty large?
The booking window itself, let's say, even if we try to sell it right now and there's a cancellation happenings, it's hard for us to sell it again because in the end, even for a few, far earlier booking already cancelled, it's really hard for us to sell with a shorter runway.
Yes. Okay. So if we sell for a cheap price right now, we're maximizing the runway, right? And if we sell a little bit closer towards the end, we're really minimizing our runway. But let's look at cancellation risk. Do you believe that the cancellation risk on a large villa like Cerita Indah is going to be higher or lower than the cancellation risk on, let's say, a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom villa in the scope of a global recession? Which one's going to be more easy to cancel? Which one has a higher risk of cancellation? A big villa or a smaller villa?
Smaller villa.
Smaller villa, Alvin says, has a higher risk of cancellation. Dominic, what do you think?
Probably big villas, sir, because
Probably
like it's many people and not all of them buy the ticket
Okay.
at the same time.
Exactly. So when you have a bigger villa, you got to remember, global recession affects a lot of people. It might not affect you, it might not affect me, but it might affect the friend who lost their job, right? Because they got fired. And now they're not going to go and spend $5,000 to go to Bali. So they're out. And then now the remaining people have to carry the weight. And now maybe another person goes out. And then now the remaining people have to carry the weight. And then after a certain point where enough people leave, they're probably just going to go, fuck it. We'll just go over from Germany over to France for our holiday because that is something everyone can afford and we just won't bother with the trip at all. So when you have a big trip, it's actually very, very fragile with a big sort of global recession. Now, if it's just a couple, let's say they're going to get married, well, they're going to go on their honeymoon anyway, with or without a job. I don't know, maybe not. But let's say if maybe the husband loses his job, maybe the wife loses his job, but it won't be like if the brother or the husband loses their job, the trip will cancel, right? Or the wife, the wife's sister loses her job, and then the trip cancels. But when you have a bigger group, that cancellation risk goes way up. Okay, so we have these factors in our mind now. If we set a little price right now, somebody books in advance, the entire waiting window now, the entire booking window, there is a risk of cancellation, right? Because any one of the people in the group originally, because you gotta remember, the most expensive is still probably the plane ticket. So this isn't the main thing, still probably the plane ticket. So if from now until the time they arrive in next July, there is a risk that anybody losing their job or anybody having economic downturn in the entire group could sink the entire trip, then offering a low rate now doesn't actually help, right? Because all it does is it just blocks the opportunity for you to sell to somebody else, right? Like what? Like a bunch of people who are rich no matter what, all right? So the real people right now I think we should target are the people who are so financially secure, they're not going to change their plans anyway. And there are always people like that. There are people who have, banks, businesses, whatever. The economic downturn is bad, but it probably doesn't mean that they're going to lose lots of money, or they're still going to have some income. They're still going to be able to sell some rubber. They'll probably trim employment, whatever, but they'll still be able to travel. So in this funny case, this means we probably don't have to change the price, right? So we thought 2 steps ahead, and we realized if we do get a booking from somebody who's cheap right now, that actually blocks the availability to somebody who's really quite wealthy and secure and can book it without hesitation. Now, the chances of somebody booking that and passing is pretty good. So maybe we can actually even raise the price, right? Maybe we can selectively raise the price, get somebody in who's absolutely secure about being able to come and get it sold. Okay, so basically what I'm saying is even if you book it now with a long runway, you still have to sit there during the entire runway waiting for a cancellation to happen, right? And that's not very good either. That doesn't mean you're going to collect revenue. Or you can kind of wait till the very end and just wait for somebody who's wealthy to buy it. And at the very end, if nobody wealthy buys it, slash it at a discount and get it sold. By that time, the owner will be much more reasonable too, right? They won't be like, why did you sell 2020 for like, a 50% discount? I thought there was going to be a recession. But by April next year, if there really is a recession and Germany is like got bread lines of people waiting to get soup, then nobody will ask you why you slashed 50%. Yes, you do have a shorter runway, but having a long runway now probably isn't a defense against a cancellation, which is ultimately another revenue risk. Make sense?
Makes sense.
Okay, so that gives us kind of like a good idea now. Let's take a look at what people paid in July. Okay, here's Sarah. She booked a 4-night stay. Oh my God, she paid very little. God, okay. Probably was a last minute discount, right? So she paid $756 divided by 4. And she paid about, wow, $189 a night for a group of 9 adults. Wow, okay, that's kind of crazy. But that's not a problem. I mean, we didn't do that, I think, in the beginning. We did that at the end. So let's take another person who booked, Donna. Donna booked a little bit longer. Wow, Donna booked. Oh, Donna was a gigantic person. Okay, Donna booked for 6,552, and she booked for 11 nights, and she paid about $600 a night. Yeah, so that was a very big deal. Okay. Yeah. What a difference, right? What a difference last minute versus. Let's see when Sarah booked. Can we actually see when she actually made her booking? No, right?
On the we can.
On the
Okay, sir. We can have the edits and there's lots.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look. So my prediction, hopefully, is that I discounted this like maybe in June. So hopefully Sarah booked in June. Sarah booked back in. Let's see. When did she book? When did she book? When did she book? She booked on June 19th. Wait, no wait. What? She booked on.
December 2nd.
Yeah, December 2nd. Wait, I don't know when she booked actually.
Open the logs on the top.
Okay. Logs. Ah, logs.
That's it.
Okay.
2nd December.
All right. She booked on December 2nd. Interesting. Why do we sell for so cheap on December 2nd?
Maybe we still not set it.
Yeah, probably why. Yeah, we didn't set the rates. Can be dangerous. All right. So this is a mistake. This is a mistake. This should be sold. This should have been sold for a higher rate. Well, good thing that Donna actually paid the correct rate. Let's see. Let's see actually when Donna actually paid her booking, so we get a better idea of how we were doing last year. So let's go over here. Let's look at the logs and see what we said. January. Ah, okay. So I guess that was a mistake, and by January we figured out, whoops, we sold for too cheap, and then by January we adjusted the rate and we sold for the correct price. Okay, but let's take a look at this. That being said, we still had 5 nights unsold in July, which would have added to another $1,000 if we had sold even at $200, right? So okay, so we sold for $187 and for $600. Let's take a look at what we sold in June for. Let's go over here. Guy, where is Cynthia?
Cynthia is taking for reservation, sir.
Oh, okay. All right. So, why is it so slow? Come on, you're killing me here, Toki. You're killing me.
Yeah, same with here.
Really? As well? That's pretty painful. All right. So, all right. Let's go ahead and take a look at the rates that we set last year, anyway. So in June we set for $199 And then in July we set for, oh my God, 175. Oh, these were the gap nights that we were trying to sell. So we know something. We know even at 175 last minute, we're still unable to sell Villa Turita Inda in July. In July, all right? So we can get a 6 month in advance booking for about $600, but last minute we can't even sell it for 175. Okay, so it seems like the best strategy is to price a little bit higher for future and then a little bit lower maybe 3 months before, maybe 4 months before, because essentially after I think a 100-day booking window, maybe, it's impossible to sell anyway. All right, so let's see. We need to set some nights for 2020. So here are our rates: $550 and $399, and then peak season of 2020. Let's see if we set the winter rates $599 again. Okay, so that's about the same rates as we set before. I think we'll just keep that, yeah, given the fact that we think that there's a recession coming. So let me see what I sold June for last year. Finally, shut up. Okay, June. Let's take a look at June. June was being sold for 3 nights at $890. $890 divided by 3, so that's about $300 in June per night for 9 adults. And let's take a look at here. This is Wyatt sold for $378 for 2 nights. So that's about 378 divided by 2. About 189 again. Okay. And then let's take a look at Matt. Matt was sold at $980 for 3 nights, so 320. And then let's take a look at Kevin. Kevin was sold at 1,280 divided by 3. This is sold at 420. So June had a mix of rates between 420, 187, $300. So there was kind of a mix of rates there. Let's go ahead and take a look at June 2020. So we're starting around $400, right? So that's a good mix. I feel confident about these rates. I think these are pretty reflective of what we're going to see in the future. So I'm going to go ahead and just send that over to Kathy and tell her, Kathy, that is what we have set. Let's take a quick look at Chinese New Year and see if we've already sold Chinese New Year at Tutinda. So that will be January. That will be January 2020. And this, oh my God, wait. Now, I have a new insight. Do you think Chinese New Year is going to be better or worse in 2020 than 2019?
Worse.
Why? Okay, Josh thinks it's going to be better. These 2 ladies think it's going to be worse. Why do you think it's going to be worse, Dominic?
The recession.
Recession? Okay, and what else?
The GDP is lower.
Okay, and what else? What's happening in Hong Kong right
Hong
now?
Kong Raya.
Hong Kong riots are happening.
Yeah.
So Hong Kong riots
trade
are,
war.
yeah, Hong Kong riots and trade war are actually pushing down the number of people. Primarily, the largest group of people who traveled for Chinese New Year were a few. There were expats who lived in Hong Kong, and there were also Chinese nationals. And
Yeah.
both are kind of experiencing some economic slowdown. Josh, why do you think Chinese New Year next year will be better than this year?
Because every year, promotion is coming to.
Not this year. This year has been far less than the year before, actually. So we noticed in 2019 we've had much fewer Chinese travelers than back in 2018. Yeah. And I think overall in Bali. Wait, let's check Chinese arrivals. Bali. Okay, let's take a look at Chinese arrivals to Bali. I don't know if there's a statistic on that, but let's see what it says. Decline 29%.
Oh.
Yeah?
Snack.
Shit.
Bali beaches go quiet as Chinese tourists stay home. Shifting tides of Bali's tourist arrivals. Okay. Don't dominate. This is 2018. Okay. So in general, it looks like there's fewer Chinese travelers coming this year than the year before. And this is just the beginning of a trade war. So probably next year is going to get just
Lower.
worse.
Yeah.
Right. Remember when you start a trade war, essentially you're refusing to buy anything without upping the tax, and the other person is doing the same. So unless you figure out a way to actually improve your economy in order to trade for more dollars and such, it's probably going to get worse and worse every year. So probably less Chinese people feel confident to travel than in 2020 as this year. Plus, mounting the fact that a lot of our guests coming to Bingen have traditionally been expats living in Hong Kong and Singapore. Hong Kong looks like shit right now. So that's a big leg that will be cut out. But let's just take a look. Let's take a look and see the evidence. Maybe we've already sold Chinese New Year actually to India, and that will be good. So let's take a look and see what it looks like on 2020 January. And what? You thought I already did this? Okay. No. Okay, January 2020. Okay, while we wait for that, let's go ahead and take a look at something else. Let's see what everyone's been working on. Chantik, yes, today is a Chantik review. So sorry I wasn't able to attend the last one, but we reviewed Chantik, right? Right? No? Yes?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, good. Let's take a look at some work on Chantik. We've seen some pretty amazing results. So let's see. Let me show you this graph at Chantik.
1, 2, 3.
What?
Was reviewing the
Oh, yeah? Okay, all right. Let's go to all here. Sorry, I'm just waiting for the load to happen on Chantik, and then once that load happens, I'll square us back over to this side. Okay, let's see. Chantik. Sorry for the switching back and forth. Nothing!
No, you need to move the dates to 25th until 27th, right?
No.
Because this is the Chinese New Year.
Good point. Good point. Good point. Okay, let's see. Let's see what we got. We did sell lot 3 for Chinese New Year,
Yeah.
actually, so that part was good. So there are some travelers coming. That guest was from China, though, right? Oh! What? What the devil? What was that? Oh, we got a big, huge booking in the middle of January, from the 10th to the 20th. Nice! Let's see how much we got that for. Hopefully that person doesn't cancel now, because that would suck. Okay, let's take a look at that. Okay, so that's about $2,500 for 10 nights. Okay, so good. But
It's related to 250 per night.
yeah, about $200 a night. And then Chinese New Year still looks open actually. All right.
Okay.
So that's Sri to India. Let's go ahead and look at Chantik now because we were looking at Chantik last time. So pulling over to Chantik. So we made some price adjustments at Chantik, and let's see what actually happened. I'm gonna need. Oh my god. Okay, I need this. I need my bigger. Where's bigger? Oh, here's bigger. Okay. Good copy. Okay, good. All right. So last time we were looking at Chantik, we made a few predictions, right? So let's see which predictions turned out to be right, which predictions turned out not to be so right. So the first prediction was, let's see, Alvin. Alvin set the teak house room to 500K on the gap nights on the 21st to 24th and the 29th to the 31st, right, Alvin? Okay, let's go ahead and roll the dice, see if that happened. So we're going to take a look at teak house and see if we sold those gaps. So please, everyone, take a look at that. Success would look like 21st to 24th is sold,
Yeah.
23rd to 24th is sold, and all these gaps over here is sold. Let's see if we see success. Oops, sorry.
But that's what I said.
Oh, and of course we're not looking at January 2020. Yep. We're going to look at October 2020.
Just click today, sir.
Just click today, sir.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Click today. Oh,
Yes.
thank you. Okay. I've clicked today, and I'm just waiting for the load. All right. While we wait for that to load, let's go back over to the second prediction. So that's Alvin's prediction. Cynthia's prediction is that she's changing the gap night for White House on 500K, and she's looking to sell October 10th to 30th on all the gap nights on White House 1. Okay, and Dominic is looking to sell the Stone House 2 at 500K. And let's see, what are your gap night sales for Stone House? You're looking to sell
No, actually it's not gap night, so it was like, oh, they didn't happen.
all the entire block,
Yeah.
right? So success would look like something from October 16th to 30th getting sold. Okay, let's take a look and see who got what right. So let's start with Alvin first. Let's see if this looks better. Da-ding! All right. So, ooh, interesting. All right, Alvin, what do you think? Did it work?
Still not selling.
Still didn't sell. All right. So what do we know then, guys? What do we know about the price?
Not really.
This is
Probably
not
it's
that
not
right.
the price, sir.
Probably it's not the price. Okay, so there's a few conclusions we can make. Maybe it's not the price. What else could it be?
Into the content.
Maybe the content. Okay. I wouldn't say it's the content. The content's been working really well during the peak season, so it has the same probability of success during the low season, right?
Probably not many people travel to Jimbaran.
Probably not a lot of people travel to Jimbaran, but why would then the other rooms get booked? Oh,
yeah.
right? Okay. All right, let's take a look at some other hypotheses. Does anybody else have a hypothesis?
Maybe it's because of the bad reviews on some of the rooms.
Maybe it's a bad review. Okay, let's go ahead and analyze some of these ideas. Let's go take a look. So I'm going to go on bigger, and I'm going to look at Chantique, and I'm going to look for Teak House. So, sorry guys, I'm doing this just like secretly. You guys can't see it, but what we'll do is we'll copy Teak House over here. I'll close this down, and I'm going to open one of the listings for Teak House. I'm going to open another listing for Teak House. Okay, and then I'm going to look at a third listing for Teak House. We're going to do a listing analysis real quick, and we're going to see if there's anything on these Teak House listings that make them less desirable. Okay, so the price is now $500 on all these Teak House units, and we'll analyze and see if there's anything at odds with the content. So while that's loading, of course, I'm going to try to. Ah, okay, all right, load it up. All right, let's take a look at this. This is the first Teak House listing, and it's on the Jing profile. And let's see a look. So it's got a 4.85, which is great. That's super host. Sparkling clean, amazing amenities. There is, okay, one mixed review is at the top, great place to stay, but there's a noise complaint about the thing. The next one says it's splendid, the best villa I've ever stayed in. The next is worth the penny I spent. So it seems like people are very happy with the value, right? 4.7 on the value. They're happy with the cleanliness. They're happy with the accuracy. So this one looks actually pretty good. All right. So then let's take a look at the next one. The next one is also $35, and let's take a look at what people are saying about it. It is also even higher. It's at 4.94. So no bad comments sinking this ship here. It looks perfect. Location 4.3, but everything else is above 4.7. So in general, very good. Beautiful gem, great breakfast selection, all the greatness. Okay, third one, Teak House number 3. So this one's 4.932 as well. So all effectively superhost listings, all with essentially beautiful reviews, a lot of love for the whole entire experience, and great. Okay, so let's go back to Alvin. Alvin, what do you think is the issue then? If the listing is okay, and we didn't get any sales, and we weren't able to fix it, what could have been the problem?
One of it may be the shorter runway, the booking window itself.
Okay.
Secondly, the price is not really right for
Okay.
that particular
Right.
situation.
So the price might not be right, because remember the value was actually for peak season sales. Now it's not peak season. And I'll show you why I think it might be the value now. Let's go to Stonehouse. Okay, so Stonehouse has been managed by Dominic, and let's take a look at what happened at Stonehouse. So Stonehouse is, let me show you guys this. This is pretty interesting. Dominic's smiling right now because she knows that there's a happy ending to this story. So on this particular listing, let's take a look at what happened. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the Stonehouse link over here, but more carefully I'm going to copy that listing ID. Once I copy the listing ID, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to select the listing ID from this chart here. And what that will allow me to do is to look at what happened at the Stonehouse. Now, I want you guys to take a look at this. This is pretty funny. So, Dominic enacted a discount on
October 16th.
October 16th, and look what happened, right? No bookings, no bookings, no bookings. Discount happened on October 16th, and bam, 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 3 bookings happened. Now, there's no way any reasonable person can tell you that the discount didn't work, right? Because if you didn't do anything on October 16th, most likely you would just see this empty type non-booking page again, right? Does anybody doubt that? Does anybody say no, that can't be the case? No, we all agree, yes? So effectively that discount, I think, drove that booking pace up. Okay, so let's take a look and see what the booking pace actually represents. There was one booking that happened way in the future, in November, on November 2nd. Weird, right? There was another booking that happened on the 18th for a check-in 3 days later on the 21st. And then there's another booking that happened on the 20th yesterday for a check-in on the 20th yesterday. Okay, so effectively what has happened at Stonehouse is Stonehouse 2 got all these bookings, right? Really nice. Fantastic. Great. So it worked. What was the price, Dominic, for the Stonehouse?
500.
Right. What is the price for the Teak House, Alvin? 500. Should the Stonehouse be priced the same as the Teak House?
Stonehouse 2.
Stonehouse 2 is pretty much same with the
Same
Teak House 2.
Okay, great. It's pretty much the same according to who? According to us or according to the guest?
According to us.
According to us. Let's take a look at what the guest said. So these have been the reviews on Stonehouse, right? Let me bring back the Teak House listings and see how we got on all the value points for Teak House. Now, the value I'm looking for right now is this. If Stonehouse has a better value point than Teak House, then at 500, it would be exceptional, right? It would still be a really good value. But if it doesn't, then maybe let's just take a look at it. So Stonehouse is getting a value score of 4.6, right? It's getting a value score of 4.6, whereas on Teak House, they're usually pretty high, right? They're around 4.7, 4.8. Am I right? Teak House, the value score is, let's see, where is your value score? Where is value score? Oh, here it is. Value score is 4.9. Nothing was 4.6 on Teak House, am I right?
Yeah.
Everything was above. Okay, what do you think that means then, Dominic? 4.7, 4.7, 4.9, and Stonehouse is 4.6. Okay, so what does that tell us, you think?
The value of the house is higher than the Stonehouse.
No, traditionally the value has been lower. Most people would actually say that the Teak House had better value than the Stonehouse.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? Alvin, what do you think that means?
Basically, if previously Stonehouse and Teak House have the same rates, the impression for the guest itself, Teak House have a better value
Right.
than Stonehouse.
You know, okay. What it tells me is also this. It tells me that when the value score is low, you probably have more impact when you lower the price, right? Than if the value score is high. If the value score is high, it means people are already pretty comfortable with the price, paying what they are. And so then it's not really the price that is going to change their decision whether or not to stay there. It's maybe some of the other things, maybe like the location, maybe like these other factors. But let's say, for example, you have a 4.0 on value, but you give a 20% discount. Then you're going to motivate a lot more people to probably start booking, right? Because people were essentially telling you, I didn't find a very good value. Let's say, for example, you went and you went to buy some nasi goreng. And it was good nasi goreng, but you just didn't feel like it was good value. Give it a 4.2. But now, they're going to give you a 30% discount. Now you're going to be happy, right? Now that will motivate you to buy it. But if you're already pretty happy with the value of something already, let's say cigarettes, you're paying what you think is absolutely a really low price for cigarettes. If the cigarettes got any cheaper, does that mean you're going to buy more of it or whatever? Maybe not, maybe depends, right? So my hypothesis is that when the value trigger is a little bit low, when the value point is low, offering a discount is going to be far more impactful than when the value is already pretty satisfactory. Make sense? Okay, and that can kind of be seen using this comparison. Just a guess, but hey, we're trying to understand this better. Okay, but also I think, Alvin, what else could we have done to try to sell Teak House in a more efficient way?
The issue, of course, we can lower it down again.
Mhm.
That's the easiest way. Wait. Yes, I'm gonna lower it down for the 21st. That still, there's still a gap. There's two gap, right? Basically, if I may, I'm gonna sell it lower again for the 21st until 24th, I believe. But I want to keep it the 500 on the second gap on the end of the month.
Hey, Alvin, guess what? I have some news for you. This is interesting. So, did you didn't change any of the prices outside the current month, right? So all the changes were just for October, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So this is interesting. You sold actually on October 16. You sold one room night in January and another room night in December, right? For one of the teak house rooms. And I'll show you what else actually transacted. So on the other one, let's see, on the second teak house, you sold, let's see if there's any more transactions happening. So what does that mean, Dominic? What does it mean when Alvin sold some rooms that were outside of the dates that he had actually adjusted?
More booking in the future date than the
Right, but what does it mean? Does it mean that it was effective, or is it a valid data point?
Not really.
Right, it means nothing.
Yeah.
It's a control. Okay, all
I
right. So
think it's in my this is Airbnb, like
Oh,
maybe Airbnb push our listing when we lower the price.
oh, okay. Rizal has an interesting hypothesis, right? So the Airbnb pushed the listing across all dates, right? When Alvin lowered the price, because yes, Alvin did bust up a losing streak right here. This was not a losing streak, but let's say a quiet streak, right? There was no booking page for 5 days, and the day he made the discount, it did change the scenario. Okay, all right, interesting. I'm gonna copy this booking code, this listing code, and see if the same thing happened to the next listing, right? 722. Let's see if that happened too. Hold your breath. Interesting. Okay, this one's a little bit hard to tell. I would say, Rizal, what do you think happened here?
It's booking on the future dates.
It's booking on the future dates again. So did Alvin's change have any impact?
yes.
Yes. Okay, Dominic thinks yes. Rizal, what do you think?
Yes.
Okay.
But for future.
Okay. Let's go over to Josh. What do you think?
Yeah, it has a good impact.
Okay, let's go over to Gani. What do you think?
Price not get the impact, doesn't get the impact.
I would agree with Gani here. Look, listen, look, guys, this thing is getting booked constantly anyway, right?
Yeah.
So it's getting booked constantly. So there was no change really to the pattern of bookings before and after we made the price change. So this doesn't look like actually anything had actually been affected. This probably would have happened anyway, with or without the price change. Alvin, would you agree now?
Yep,
Okay.
of course.
All right. So when you see long stretches of emptiness and then suddenly something happens after you make a change, that would indicate that what you did probably resulted in the change, right? Like if you go into a room and you turn on the light and the lights were on anyway, did you really turn on the light? No, right? The lights are on anyway. So, but if it was dark before and it would have been dark forever and you turn on the light, then you can say, hey, look, I flipped the switch, the light came on. Makes sense, right? I mean, we don't even think about it that way, but that's what you should be able to see. If you did something, then it would have changed what was happening before. And what was happening before was a lot of nothing. Then the change could say, okay, you started the roll happening, okay? So it looks like in one case, the teak house seemed to get some future bookings after Alvin made a change. In the second case, it looks like nothing really conclusive. Let's take a look at the third one and see what happened there. So we'll go ahead and take that look at this listing ID, go over here, and plug that listing ID in, and see what happened. Hold up! Why am I laughing?
It's like a piano.
It's like a piano, but why am I laughing?
I don't know.
Okay, Josh, why would this be funny? And Alvin's like, I don't see the humor in this, Jim. Fuck you.
There's no change at all. The last time is 16 October.
It's actually even worse than no change at all. It's zero now.
That's why.
Oh yeah, it's
The last time is 16 October.
It stopped, right? It was getting booked almost every single day. And then after we changed the price, it stopped getting booked.
So might be dynamic of the pricing in there.
Okay, so this is why evidence is always very weird, right? Sometimes it's not intuitive. What could have changed? What could would have done that. See, look at it. It was getting booked twice a day, once a day, 1 day gap, then a
Put it
booking,
back
then a
to the
booking, then
price.
a booking, then a booking, and then nothing for 4 days now. Nothing for 5 days. So this could be this, Alvin. I'm thinking maybe Wayne is right. Maybe actually what had been happening was that people were searching in a certain price budget.
Yeah.
And it was landing right into search when they were looking at that price budget. And now maybe we shifted away from that price budget. Now it can't be seen. So it's like before you were sort of lying inside of a target. Now you can do an experiment.
Yeah.
You can go ahead and change it and see if it moves it back in. So it's a little bit odd. Oh, but you can't change specifically one particular listing, right, Alvin? It would have to be all the teak houses.
Actually, for Ticos 1 and 3, I only changed it once.
Okay.
The Ticos 2 is actually that I changed 2 times.
Oh, okay. So this is, I'm not sure which one this is, yeah? This is this one, Alvin. This is this one. Is this teak house 1?
1.
1.
That's one.
Interesting. You know what's funny too? This one has the highest review score.
Yeah.
Maybe about the availability issue.
Oh yeah.
Ah, let's take a look. Maybe it's the availability. Maybe it's all booked out, right? Let's take a look at the Yes, it's the hardest one to fill, right? It essentially has some
The
of the
level
less
Yeah.
least number of guys. Okay, maybe not a bad thing, but still, I mean, like the 20th and the 21st could have been sold too, right? Who knows? Okay, so this is why studying data is pretty funny because sometimes you have all these unexpected results that are, I don't know, is it conclusive? Is it inconclusive? I feel kind of weird about this. Conclusive, inconclusive, conclusive, inconclusive. What does that mean? What does that mean? I shouldn't have changed the price. I don't know. Alvin, to be honest, I really don't know. It's hard to say whether or not if you had let the price remain, would it have gotten booked. It's hard to say that a discount wouldn't have helped. But whatever it is, we do know one thing. It didn't work. All right. So whatever we tried to do to sell those gap nights, it wasn't the right way. So when you see this again, don't do the same thing. I guess that's the only good takeaway from this particular exercise. If you see a packed calendar, really highly ranked listing, perfect reviews, maybe don't change the price. Yeah, maybe it'll do better. But be conscious that you didn't change the price and see if it does better than this at least. So, okay, all right. Funny takeaways. Let's go back up to the. I'll close all this stuff down, and I believe somebody was going to show me the Superhost account, right? And we were going to take a look and see if the Superhost account was doing better or worse. Does anybody have Cynthia's or Chandra's Superhost account? Nope. Nobody knows what I'm talking about? Okay. All right, sure. Let me bring this back. Okay. That was fun, yeah? Was that fun? Everyone got to see what sort of the results were? Wait, one more. One more person. Was there one more person who changed? Cynthia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Cynthia,
Yeah,
let's see what she did. She changed these
White
gaps
House.
for White House, right? So her big gaps were 500,000 for White House, right? And let's take a look see and see if White House did well. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to bigger and I'm going to copy the White House. Okay, I'm going to copy the White House. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm going to copy the White House links over here, and then I'm going to copy the listing codes over, and we'll take a look and see if there was any impact. So this is White House. Okay, and then we will search over here. Revenue Management Guild. Okay, we'll search over here and see if White House actually had any change. Come on. Okay. All right. White House. Hey, hey, hey. Conclusive, inconclusive. Let's go over to Gani. Gani, do you believe this evidence is conclusive? Does a change on the White House result in more bookings or no?
Sorry, I didn't see the Cynthia when she set the price.
Okay, 16th, I believe. So let's go ahead and take a look at when Cynthia changed the price. I believe it was 17th. Cynthia changed the price on the 17th to 500,000. Yeah.
For
For the White
okay,
House.
500K for
September to October. So basically the entire month. Do you think then that had any effect?
Not really.
You don't even think so?
70. Yeah, I think yes, it have impact because Then normally get one booking, and then at 19 October get 3 bookings.
Okay, let's go
Yeah,
to
I
Rizal.
think
Do you agree with
a
Gani?
little impact.
Depends on which date the check-in is.
Okay, depends on the check-in date. Okay, all right, very good. Let's go to Josh. Josh, do you think that Cynthia had an impact on the booking pace after she changed the price on October 17th?
It does have an impact, but it's not that great.
Okay, okay, let's go to Alvin. Alvin, what do you think?
Sorry, sir. I'm handling a case.
Oh, no worries.
I kind of
Okay.
missed.
All right, let's go to Dominic. Dominic, what do you think?
Not really have
Not
any
really.
impact.
Okay. All right. I tend to agree with Dominic. And the reason why is this. Do you see that it had 3 bookings before
Yeah.
over here? And it has 3 bookings after. So it's not like it was never getting 3 bookings at all anyway. It was able to get 3 bookings before we changed the price. So after we changed the price, if it still got 3 bookings, that's nothing new. That was already recorded before. Now, it's hard to once again ask what would have happened had we not done the price change, right? Maybe it would have been 0. But it doesn't look like there's any huge historical change. The second consideration is, of course, the dates that have been sold. So the dates that have been sold is now until the end of October. And how much of that is actually changed? Is it gone better or worse?
Worse.
It's gone worse, actually, because look, there were 3 bookings in the same month before we changed the price. Now there's only 1, right? So looking at that, we actually can say that it doesn't look like the price change actually convincingly enough changed any outcome in how this particular listing performed, right? Yes, it got some future bookings, but these future bookings were not the prices that we had changed. So those most likely would have been booked anyway, right? So the only thing that we could possibly attribute it to is this one, but this is far less than what happened before. So it doesn't really persuade me that this price change had real impact. All right. So let's take a look at the next one. Let's take a look at the next White House one, which will be over here. Okay. No, this isn't it. Okay. Where did we go? No, that isn't it. Okay, that's one. I forgot which one I actually selected now. So. Okay, I obviously selected this one. So let's go over and select this one and see what it is. Okay. Get it. Get it. All right, let's take a look at the second White House. All right, what do we see here? Dominic, what do you think happened here?
Not. We didn't have any booking.
No impact, right?
Yeah.
Once again, no impact. No impact because nothing sold on the dates that we had actually changed the prices on. We have this one blue booking over here, and it's all the way in November. Okay? Here's something I want to show to you guys right now that I think is fairly interesting. Do you see this? This is our overall company revenue, right?
Yeah.
Do you see November right now? What do you notice that's maybe surprising about November? Dear Gunny, what is surprising about the November revenue right now?
November revenue, I think right now is drop almost half. Drop off.
Of October, sure, certainly. But the blue part means the part of November revenue that has been earned before November begins, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay, so let's go to Rizal. Rizal, what is surprising about the November revenue now?
A lot of future booking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Josh, what do you think about the November revenue?
I think it has a potential because the month hasn't even started yet, so we can make more revenue.
That's it. That's it. Look, in October, we started October with 195, right?
Yeah.
In November, today, in the first third of the second, okay, with 11 days more left to go, 11 days more left to go, we're already at 149. So I would almost consider the possibility of starting November with the same revenue as October to be pretty high. We might be able to start November with the same revenue that we started in October. And that has never, ever, ever, ever happened
And
before.
that's low season.
Yeah, that's low season. So what is that telling us?
Trends changing.
The trends might be changing. Dominic, tell us more about that.
So probably people start traveling before the high season on December because everything starts to be cheaper.
Yes, that is a pretty interesting hypothesis. Anybody else have another hypothesis? Let's go to Alvin. Alvin, what can we deduce about November now?
Basically, it's pretty much we can reach the same target with October.
Yeah.
We have a chance to reach the same target with October.
Yeah. It looks like November is not low season anymore. Okay, let's go and take a look at this, right? We're gonna take a look at the historical graph and see how much November has grown every year. So if November is growing every year, that's a trend. That means that essentially November maybe will not be a low season in the future. Maybe November will be a peak season. Let's take a look. Okay, so let's take a look at the growth. No, okay, all right. Theory dispelled. Wait, maybe not. So what we're looking for is this. We're looking for a growth comparison from 2016 to 17 to 18. So for August, what we saw was there was a 66% growth from 16 to 17, and then 11% growth from 17 to 18, and then 45% growth from 18 to 19, right? Okay, let's take a look at September. September grew 50%, then 13%. October grew 27%, and then 32%. November grew 35%, and 20%. Interesting. Okay. So essentially, we have already surpassed the 2018 November revenue today, right? We're already at like, 190. So that part is pretty interesting. And the rest of it is a little bit inconclusive, right? I can't really tell. I mean, 35% is certainly better than 27, but it's less than 54. It's less than 66, okay, right? But 19 is worse than 32, and it's better than 13. It's better than 11. It's not as good as 33. So, okay, no conclusion yet. Yeah, it would have been nice to see 45 and 45. That would have been, oh my God, November is trending up, but it doesn't look like we have that complete type of evidence yet. Okay, so hypothesis incomplete. Probably no conclusion yet. All right, so that's pretty much it. Oh my God, it's already 5:20. Okay. So I think we started 20 minutes in, and 20 minutes in. But that is okay. That's that. Let's go to one last thing last, which is this. We have a superhost profile somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So Mr. Rizal,
Yes.
Rizal, can you share your screen and take a look and see what we have today? Let's see whose prediction was the most accurate. Okay. So we predicted that. The Risky expected that there would be a 50% improvement on the market median for the underperforming properties here and here. Okay. Dominic also went with 50%. Cynthia went with 75. Ryan went with 35. Rizal went with 20%. Alvin was in here, and Jean predicted 300% improvement. Okay, let's take a look at, we're looking at impressions, right? Let's take a look at impressions. Okay, visibility. Let's see how good being a superhost is, actually. All right, look at that. Aha! Yes! I am correct. No? Am I correct? Am I closer to being correct? Okay, let's take a look at the first one.
I have some question.
Yes, sir.
On the filter, it should be set the day before it's turned to be superhost.
Correct. Good.
And day.
Good.
Because we can see the date filter right now is one more ahead, right?
Okay.
We're supposed to set the date before it changes to superhost, right?
Which was approximately when, Gunny? When do you think it was actually changed to superhost?
Wait, I have to check the group.
Okay.
I think
Well, certainly about 2 weeks ago, right?
yes. I think
Impressions on October 19th, October 9th, right? Let's go to October 9th to begin. Okay. I still see October 21st. Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay, so we're going back in time a little bit, Gunny. I'll wait for the official figure from Gunny, who will tell us when we actually officially became superhost. Okay, this is pretty interesting. So let's say one superhost on the one that says good value. We got 13 impressions versus 4, so that's 253% better than the market median. On the other one, we got 8, where the market median was 4, so that's about 100% better. The other one, Charming Cabin, that's huge. That's gigantic. I don't know why there's not a percentage there, but that's 15 times better. Maybe it's beyond the capability of a percentage, but that's about 1,500 times better, yeah? 1,500% better. The Bungalow Delicious Breakfast got 664% better. The Authentic Cabin with High Speed is 20 times better, so 2,000% better. The Twin Bungalow is 33% better, and then the Private Beach Cabin is 36% better. So all together, actually, let's add it all up. Let's add up everything. It's 13 plus 8 plus 68 plus 32 plus 79 plus 5 plus 6. Okay, so that's 211 impressions on Superhost. And then let's divide that by non-Superhost market median. 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. What is that? 4 times 7, right? So that's divided by 28. Okay, so it's 21 divided by 28. So that is, everyone, 753% better than a non-Superhost profile. Yeah? Make sense? Does everyone understand how we got there?
Yeah.
Okay, so we added up basically what our total impressions were for being Superhost, and we divided it by the market median. So a Superhost profile is 7.5 times more likely to be seen by a visitor than a non-Superhost profile. Now, I need to apologize here. I think the reason why you can't see these high percentage numbers is because I don't think Airbnb can display 4 digits actually. So it's probably that's why it's not showing up, because it's consistent here and here. But it looks pretty good. So in the end, who was closest to being right? Yeah, it's me. All right. So basically, actually, I was not even right. I was half off. Right. It should be almost 700% better. So that's good. That gives us something to strive for. We should all be superhosts. Yeah.
But sir, have you wondered why we got the 2 profiles getting superhost in this almost same time? Even Chandra profile is not have a good listing anyway.
Okay,
Yeah.
answer. Because I just saw that actually, honestly saying that we lost a superhost account of Jogja. Ara is no longer superhost because Airbnb was doing a review on October, and every listing that already passed the standard for to be the superhost on October will be the superhost on the same month.
Okay. So how did Ara lose her superhost status?
Yeah, because of the review rates, it's going down by 0.1. So actually, on the month of October, Airbnb did a review again on all the accounts, and probably after that review, for any account that already passed the standard for a superpost will be the superpost on the same time.
I see. Okay. Here. Take a look at this. These are the superhost standards, Gunny. So you need to have at least 10 trips. So the easiest way to be superhost is just to host 10 trips, right? And just make sure everyone's happy. So that's the simplest way you can do it. 90% response rate or higher, which is easy for us because everything's instant book for Bukit Vista, and receive at least 80% 5% review rate and 80% 5-star rate. Okay, so if you get that, then you're a superhost. And believe it or not, when you're tiny, it's super easy to get that. When you're big, it's very, very difficult to get that. Yeah, because you are essentially entertaining a much larger population, and a much larger population is much harder to figure out what their preferences are and what their expectations are. So it is pretty difficult. But that is the superhost question. Okay, all right, good findings, yeah? All right, so that's a great finding. Now we know how much valuable it is to be a superhost in terms of impressions. And okay, that's pretty much it for today. Let's talk about what we want to cover tomorrow or at the next meeting. So Bukit Pila, Gani already has a projection. We'll take a look at that tomorrow. And then revenue projections from Jogja, Dominic already has. And Rizal is doing revenue management board on squad 4. We'll take a look at some of his revenue management on the two properties he's looking at. Tris is doing a revenue projection on a 6-bedroom. I'll share my revenue projection that got rejected, my fail, at Gerard, who is one of our partners in Bingen, and I'll talk about why he didn't actually accept the revenue projection. And I'll also show this. This is a revenue forecast roadmap. This is how we're going to get better at forecasting. So it's the same as what we do for sales projections for the company. So what is the revenue model? How are we actually using the data to forecast it? So currently I'm using seasonality. It's a ratio of month on month. And then it's I get the base rate from the lowest revenue month. And then I find 3 to 5 mirror properties on Airbnb. That's my technique. Okay, so more on that tomorrow. Stay tuned for new updates on the revenue view. So cool. Okay, thank you everyone for coming in today, and have a great day. Best of luck, and happy revenue management. Yeah, keep on revenuing on.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay. All right. Was it fun, Josh?
It's interesting.
Yeah.